Bruce Thompson for BT Pilates. Seated foot exercises to enhance your foot and heal your Achilles. There's researchers at the European University of Madrid that recently have found out about which are the weak muscles and which are the strong muscles in runners who are suffering Achilles tendinosis pain. And what they found out was the muscles that lift the front of the foot and the toes, the dorsiflexors, are weak, that the muscles that curl the toes into the ground like claws are strong, and the interosseous muscles that pull the spokes of the front of the foot together are weak. And also that in general the plantar fascia and the solar foot muscles are somewhat weak. So we can have a play with the different movements and muscles here to see if we can encourage the weak muscles to work more strongly and the overworking muscles to work a little less strongly. And along the way, we will find out that rebalancing these muscles means that the foot lands to the ground with less of a jolt, that it's secure on the ground with a wide base of support and more control, and there's just a lot less jolting and jarring going on through your Achilles. So let's get started. So I'm just placing my feet at an angle so that you can get an idea of foot from the side and foot in front. We're just going to start with a ball under the balls of the toes. And we can just waggle the toes to make sure they're free. We can immediately think about just lift the toes and send them wide. We're dorsiflexing. That's a weak muscle in people with Achilles tendinosis. But what we want to achieve is to just narrow the front of the foot. I'm just standing up, I'm just pressing the balls flat, and you can see my knees are slightly bent, and just squeeze the balls of toes together. You won't see a lot of action, but you will feel it. If I just take the weight off, and you see the foot might narrow, and you might see as I sink down, the foot goes wider, so just there, and come off, and wide, and come off. But we want to just flatten the balls and squeeze them together. So that's increasing the power and strength of the muscles, feather-shaped muscles, interossei, that run between the metatarsals or spokes of the front of the foot. The next exercise is heartbeat foot. When I tell my clients to do this, it's a little bit interesting, I think, is that they just curl their toes under like that. In fact, I rather think that we generally, as human beings, we see our feet as planks with curly toes on the end. We think of the foot as a passive plank with really very little in the way of muscles to help move it. But that could be nothing further from the truth. So here are my clients, they curl their toes under, and if you can imagine heel strike, walking and running, boom, boom, boom. You try that yourself, you'll feel a jarring through your ankle and your Achilles. So maybe there's something better than that. But before we get into the heel and toe action, I'd just like to show you heartbeat foot. This is where we keep the balls of toes on the ground and the middle of each toe on the ground. And here it is. And you can see there's a fair bit of shortening of the foot and narrowing. We can now practice some heel and toe action. If we have the toes high, that's dorsiflexion, and we're working muscles that need strengthening if we're going to take the jolting and jarring out of our ankle and Achilles. We can just have the toes wide and high and just land the foot down. And we can use our hands to push our knees down, push and push and push, and this is a lot softer on the ankle and the Achilles. It's very smooth action. And we can just get a little bit into a nice action there. Beautiful rhythmic action, majestic action of toes. We can turn this into a Mexican wave. Feet up. So we're going to Mexican wave the pinky toe, ball of toe down first, and then the ball of fourth, third, second, first toe. Down we go. And we've just smoothed that action into the perfect track athlete running action. Very smooth. The shockwave loading is now off the ankle and Achilles. That Achilles can now heal. How about taking it in reverse? So if we Mexican wave up, the ball of the big toe comes first, and the rest follow. Big toe, small toe. And so we've just practiced heel strike for runners and walkers. So while that foot's actually on the ground, in about mid-stance, we can think about what happens if the knees go wide and you see the ball of big toe left the ground, but can we get it down? And we squeeze the balls of toes together and get the ball of the first toe on the ground. And what happens if we take the knees in and the ball of the fourth and fifth toe is left the ground? We'll squeeze it down. So now we're working at narrowing the front of the foot and keeping all the balls of toes on the ground. Is the ball of first toe down? Yes. Is the ball of fourth and fifth toe down? Yes. Push, push. Now, my left foot's rather lazy, and it's rather hard to get that ball of that first toe down here. And my right foot, the big toe is very good at clawing into the ground, but can I relax it a bit? But when we're wide, we've got that feel of the balls of toes on the ground and the middle of toes pressing a little bit. Drinking straw, elbow drinking straw. I'm just going to go with one leg now. We imagine that the foot, ankle and leg are like an elbow drinking straw, and the ankle is actually the elbow part of the straw. So if we were to grab either side of the drinking straw, we rotate them out and in. Okay, so there's the rotation action. And you can see that the foot and ankle are rotating with the shin. That's lateral rotation, medial rotation. If we take the shin and rotate out, and then just push to the balls of toes. First toe, fourth toe, right over, and rotate the shin bone in, and again push to the balls of the toes, this time emphasizing small toes. Ball of big toe, small toes. And so rotate, press, rotate and press, rotate and press. Now we come to the toe off. We'll just take our foot into high-heeled shoe. That's as though we're at the moment where they actually do the toe off. We won't practice toe off, we're going to practice the reverse. Lean on the knees, push them down, and come up and just push them down. Narrow the front of the foot, squeeze the balls of toes together, push them down, and push them down. And from here, we could take this action into actually heel and toe walking. And we can do that elbow drinking straw on knees narrow and wide. But the key thing is we're looking at de-emphasizing the clawing of the toes into the ground. We still want that action to happen, but de-emphasize. And we're thinking about pushing the balls of toes into the ground and narrowing the front of the foot. And the whole feeling will be as though you're actually squelching balls of toes and middle of toes into the ground. And you'll feel things are moving with a lot more smoothness and control. You've got a wider base of support out of the front of your foot. You'll be surprised at the feeling of extra power now that the rest of the body's confident that it's working out of a strong, wide base of support from that front of the foot. Seated foot exercises to enhance your foot and heal your Achilles. This is Bruce Thompson from BT Pilates.